I didn't got one question. What is ascent of sap?
Agent of SAP. Okay, but why did they ask this question? This is not there in the syllabus.
It is not there, but then they asked out of
Hmm.
syllabus.
See, ascent of sap is basically, see, inside the xylem and inside the phloem, there is like a liquidy substance that is present, and that is the sap of the plant. Okay, that sap stores water, minerals, and all of those things. Ascent of the sap refers to that upward movement of that sap to the different parts of the plant. But it is not there for your syllabus. How could they ask? Weird. And how many marks are you expecting?
Well, bio, except 1 mark, everything I got right.
Okay,
So
very good.
like above 65 out of 80.
Okay. And how did physics and chemistry go?
Physics was easy. Chemistry, I should have practiced it a little more better.
Anyone else who had their exams? No one?
Oh, ma'am, I had it.
Who had it? Gianna, you had it.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how was your exam?
It was good.
Went good. When did you have your exam?
21st, yesterday.
Okay. So how many marks are you expecting in biology?
Oh,
Full?
I'm not sure. I didn't.
Students, did we discuss about the different kinds of vegetative propagation?
No,
No? Okay. And did we discuss the advantages of asexual reproduction?
no.
Okay. So, we were on to the last method of asexual reproduction that takes place mostly in the case of plants, and that is vegetative propagation. Now, like I told you, that in the animals or in the plants or in the organisms in general, there are two types of cells that are present. The first kind of cells are known as reproductive cells, meaning, like the name only suggests, they will be taking part directly in the reproduction process. Then comes the body cells. The body cells in the case of animals, and they are also called as vegetative cells in the case of plants. So these cells or these parts are those that do not take part in the reproduction. They are normal body cells, just like how in us humans, if you think about it, sperm and ova are the male and the female gametes, right? But do you think that the skin takes part in reproduction? The cells of the skin, does that take part in the reproduction? Yes or no? Yes or no? If yes, how? If no, why? See, the normal body cells, obviously, they'll not take part in any kind of reproduction activity. Like I told you, the reproductive cells are specialized different sets of cells, like sperm and ova, the gametes, right? They will take part in reproduction. Apart from that, we are talking about cells. We are not talking about organs. So pay attention to that. Okay, we're talking about the cell. Sperm is a cell, ova is a cell. But when you talk about the cell of the skin, right? It will definitely not take part. If you think about the cells of the hair, that will also not take part in reproduction, right? So remember
Yeah.
all the body cells in the case of animals, and the same thing, meaning the body cells are known as vegetative cells in the case of plants. They do not take part in the reproduction normally. Okay. Now, when we talk about the vegetative propagation, so in this method, new plants are produced from the vegetative parts. Okay, here certain vegetative parts are used to produce the new plant. And which parts of the plant? Such as the root, the leaves, the stem. Normally, these are vegetative parts, right? Normally, they don't perform any kind of reproductive activity. But in certain cases, in some plants, these parts of the plant can be used to generate a new plant. And this happens without the help of any reproductive organ. No help of reproductive organ is involved in this case. Okay. So that is what vegetative propagation is. Now, when we say that when roots are used for the vegetative propagation, then that takes place in dahlia and sweet potato plants. If stems are used for vegetative propagation, then rhizome in the case of ginger, tuber in the case of potato, and bulb in the case of onion is used for vegetative propagation. Now see, in the case of the plants, the pollen grain is the cell that is reproductive cell. Then the male gametes are there. Then the egg in the female flower is also there. So those are the reproductive structures, reproductive organs. But normally, if you think about roots, stems, or leaves, so they are not the reproductive parts. So we call this as vegetative propagation. Now, if it is being done with the help of leaves, so that happens in the case of bryophyllum, what happens is that the margin of the bryophyllum leaf has buds present. And just like how normally budding happens, so these buds can be used to plant a new, like to grow a whole entire new plant. Now, all of these methods, we are utilizing some part of the plant. So we call it, like normally we say, vegetative propagation. But when we artificially induce these conditions, so the artificial methods of vegetative propagation comes into play. That is cutting, layering, and grafting. These are the methods. They are not the parts. Rather, they are the methods that are used for vegetative propagation. Now, let us see. See the first method, the cutting. Here, a part of the plant is cut with the help of a blade, and that cut part is planted. Okay, and when it gets the nutrients and everything, so it starts growing, like the roots and everything. So, see how a part of the plant, normally, if I'll ask you to grow a new plant, what will you do? You'll go bring a seed and then you'll plant it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this method, the method that is cutting, it is a method of artificial vegetative propagation. Then comes layering. Now see, in this case, you take a branch of the plant or a tree and then you bend it in such a way that one part of it touches the ground, right? Or inside the soil. So inside the soil, because of the nutrients, because of the hormones, the development of root will take place. And then that will develop like above the ground and become a whole new plant in itself, a different variety, right? Meaning a separate living. You see that, meaning it will not be different in terms of genetics, but they will be different in terms of like one plant, second. Getting my point? Hmm. Ask. Were you about to ask something, Maha?
I can explain it a little again.
Hmm? Okay. Shall I explain it again?
Yeah.
Okay. See, what happens is that in the case of layering, we take a branch of the plant, okay, and we bend it in such a way that a part of it goes under the ground. Like you took it and you bent it and you put it under the soil. Now, after a while, what will be noticed is that slowly, the root development will take place in that point which is under the soil. And then this will develop outside like this. And when we like, because it will be very weak part, so we'll tie it with a support. So this kind is known as layering. Okay. Then comes grafting. See, sort of like a diagonal or angular cut is made, okay, onto two different plants. And then both of them are joined together and wrapped around. And then the growth continues. Okay. So this was the case of grafting. Now let us, okay, let me give you some points about the cutting. See, cutting method, basically what happens? A stem, leaf or root is cut from the parent plant. It can be a stem also, it can be a root also, and it can be a leaf also. Okay, basically, and then when you plant it into another pot or something, it will grow. Okay, so we can say that in this case, a stem, leaf, or root is cut from the parent plant. Also, Maha, did you face any difficulty while answering the questions in the exam? Were there any questions that you thought, you did not know, or something that has not been taught, anything of that sort?
No, because I had like extra class to cover up the portion of like the exegetical part that was coming in the exam. So like everything they said it was gonna be important, only those came. So it's clear.
Okay, good. Yes, Gianna, you were telling me about yours. Tell me. And others also. None of you had your exams. Students, Aisha, did your exam, like, is your exam over?
Yes,
It's over.
yes.
No. Okay, Harshit, yours is over. How was your exam?
Mine is UT, only just 30 marks.
How did it go?
Good, ma'am.
Good.
Yes,
Okay. How many marks are you expecting in biology?
in biology, I just not able to do the R environment question, except I have I'm expecting 7 or 8.
Okay. Okay, now in the case of layering, a plant stem is bent to the ground, to the ground and covered with soil. This is the basic principle. That is what we are doing, right? We are bending it, putting it towards the soil, and we are basically covering it with the soil, right? Now, the covered, like the roots grow from that covered part of plant, forming forming a new plant. Here, see, in this case, a new plant will be formed. But do you think that will, like that plant, will it be independent or will it be dependent? Hmm? Think.
Independent because gonna grow its own roots, right?
But see here, it is still connected to the parent plant.
But
We
it
are
might
taking,
like break off or something.
no, if it breaks off, then it dies. Okay, so like the branch is coming from the parent plant only. So you can say that in one way or the other, it will stay connected to the parent plant. So we can say that it is sort of dependent on. Okay, if you cut this part, then it will die. No matter like however many roots are formed here. Okay, now comes the grafting. So in the case of grafting, what happens? A cutting from one plant cutting from one plant is joined and the two plants And then these two plants would grow together as one. Now, the product of this plant will also be produced and this plant will also be produced. Clear? Now, these are the three basic types of artificial methods of vegetative reproduction at like there in your syllabus. There is one more unique type, that is tissue culture. Now, tissue culture is basically, some cells of the plants are taken that have this power of dividing a lot. And then those cells are given a proper condition to grow, like proper food, proper watering, proper pH and everything. And then a new plant is made from that. Clear, students? That is tissue culture. Now coming on to the advantages of asexual reproduction. Like there must be some advantage. Why is it? Like if you think, students, tell me, is asexual reproduction advantages in the, like as advantages more than the sexual one or less than?
Less advantages.
Very good. Less advantages. But even though it is less advantages as sexual reproduction, but still there are certain advantages. But why do you think that asexual reproduction is less advantageous? What is the thought behind it?
Because
Uh,
variations will be
because there is
less.
a variation.
That'll give them less chance of survival.
Hmm. Variation. Variation is the main thing, right? Now, the first thing is that the asexual reproduction, it takes less time. Why? Because there's no gamete formation, nothing complicated happens. So it takes less time. It is less complicated as it does not involve gamete formation. So no gamete formation, no complication, no time required. Then, since the offsprings are clones of the parents, meaning they are the exact copies of the parents, so this type of asexual reproduction, it preserves the parental character. Preservation of parental character means whatever characters the parent had, the offspring also has, and it is the same. So preservation, like it is being preserved, right? Why? As the offsprings are the exact copies that are clones of the parents, meaning no new variety, no new characters, nothing of that sort is being developed. So that is why we say that, when you want to say it in a nice way, when we don't want to say that nothing happens here, but we say that, okay, preservation of parental characters are taking place, meaning something is happening. And this thing does not take place in sexual reproduction because variations arise in the case of sexual reproduction. Is it clear to you all, students?
Yes.
So basically, we have completed the asexual reproduction part of this chapter. Now, people, tell me if you have any doubts, anything you want to ask?
Ma'am, in the grafting,
Hmm.
so we are binding like two branches together, right?
Hmm.
So like after like it starts growing and everything, if you remove the like the bandage, will it break or will it just stay like
No,
that?
no, it'll not break. It'll, like they'll start forming cells together. So it'll get attached. Because of the nature of the tissues and the cells, the division will take place, and the part that got attached here, in between them, the cells will be formed and they'll be one. Meaning here,
Okay.
properly, like cell will be formed and they'll fuse together. Okay. Okay. So what is the last thing you people have written?
We wrote till um without the help of any reproductive organs. Yeah, till
Uh,
there.
you people note down this part first. This is very important and you always have to remember this. This is like forever, not just in class 10, but forever. Okay. Now you people can switch off your videos and write down comfortably.
I'm done. Done.
Everyone's done, students?
Yes.
I'm done.
Done.
Yes, all of you are done, students?
Yes. Down.
Done, students?
Yes.
All right. See, students, you can roughly draw the picture also. So as to, roughly to remember how the process looks like.
Can you scroll down?
Done, students?
No.
Okay. Okay, done, students.